What if the one thing you've been told should never work is the very place heaven is using to restore you, not punish you, and the reason your chest tightened when you heard that is because this is about you. I'm not talking about fantasy, my dear one, this is a real shift, and the timing of you hearing it right now is already part of the sign. Stay till the end, because what I'm about to tell you isn't meant for everyone, and the timing of you hearing it is part of the message. You've been carrying that quiet weight of being watched, judged, measured like you have to be reasonable to be worthy, so you swallow your truth and call it maturity. Let me mirror you gently. You're tired of second-guessing yourself in silence, tired of rehearsing, maybe I imagined it just to feel safer. And here is your permission to believe what you secretly want to be true without feeling foolish. They don't see a number, they see a soul. There is someone close enough to your life that your spirit recognizes them. Someone whose feelings did not start with logic, because logic would have told them to stop, to keep distance, to stay reasonable about the age difference. And yet something in them kept leaning toward you anyway, quietly, steadily, like a flame protected from wind. They didn't plan this, they didn't chase it, they didn't expect it. And that's what makes it feel so intense, because it grew in the shadows where no one could comment, no one could interfere, no one could tell them what it meant. Right now, as you listen, visualize this not as drama, but as truth rising like dawn, slow but unstoppable, and feel how your body responds, that sudden stillness, that warmth in your chest that says, this is touching something real, this is not random. My beloved child, you were guided here on purpose, because in the unseen there is movement around your name, and something that has been held back is pressing forward into the open. I won't reveal every detail yet, but I will promise you this. Before this message ends, I'm going to name the 2 quiet signs that prove they're already moving toward you, and you'll recognize them instantly. Sign 1, they've hovered over your name, typed the message, and deleted it more than once. There is a reason you're hearing this at this exact moment, my beloved child, because the timing itself is the first sign, and it's not random that your attention landed here right when your heart has been trying to make sense of what it feels like. They tried to control it, tried to label it as nothing, tried to create distance because the age difference or the timing sounded wrong on paper. But their own heart kept betraying the mask, pulling them back again and again, not with obsession, but with recognition. God saw your pain, your patience, and your silent prayers. Stay with me a little longer, because what I'm about to tell you will explain why they couldn't let go even when they wanted to, and here is the small truth you can trust right now. They have already rehearsed a conversation in their head more than once, and every version of it ends with your name. You've been hiding your feelings because you're afraid of being judged. Hold that thought with me. They didn't fall for a surface thing, my dear one. They fell for your presence, the way you speak like you've survived something and still chose softness, the way you carry pain without weaponizing it, the way your silence says more than most people's speeches. And they noticed your strength precisely in the moments you forgot you had any. In the middle of their own noise, they found peace around you, a calm that didn't ask them to perform, and that peace became the place their mind kept returning to when everything else felt unstable. Now listen a little deeper. This is the part that lifts the fog. Heaven has been watching both of you, watching the restraint, the fear, the private longing, watching how you both sense the pull but hesitate because you think the number between you will ruin the meaning. But love is not a math problem, my beloved child, and souls don't recognize through age, they recognize through light. And here comes the escalation, gentle but urgent. Something is shifting behind the scenes right now, not a vague promise, a real movement in the unseen, and it's pressing toward expression in the natural. Their heart is fighting its way toward honesty, and you can feel it, because your heart races when their name appears, because the atmosphere between you has changed, even if no words have been spoken. They've been praying quietly, asking God if what they feel is wrong, and instead of doors closing, their life keeps circling back to you through small reminders, repeated thoughts, sudden dreams, and an ache that won't dull. This connection is not casual, not a passing spark, and not the kind of thing you can rationalize away. It is alignment, and a moment is being prepared where the truth will be harder to avoid than to admit. And when it arrives, you'll understand why the silence had to stretch before it could finally break. My beloved child, stay right here with me, because this is a turning point, and what you've been sensing is about to find words. Don't skip. Here is the first thing I can tell you plainly, a small truth that is already real. They have written a message to you and erased it more than once, not because they don't feel it, but because they feel it so strongly it scares them to put it in words. If you've been doubting yourself, my dear one, wondering if you imagined the energy, wondering if you were foolish to feel what you felt, you are not crazy, and you are not alone in this. They replay moments with you like a quiet film at night, the way you looked when you weren't trying, the way you spoke when you thought nobody was listening, the way your presence lingered after you left. And their heart keeps asking a question it can't answer with logic. Why won't you leave my spirit? Pause and let it sink in. The answer is not about age, not about timing, not about what would make sense to other people. It's that God placed a seed of recognition in them, something ancient feeling, deep and steady, and that seed has been growing in silence until it reached the point where it cannot stay underground. Now, here is the transition you need to hear. Their silence isn't protection anymore, it's pressure, and it's beginning to crack, not into chaos, but into courage. You may even feel your body go still as you listen, because your spirit recognizes the moment getting closer, the moment where what's hidden starts choosing air over fear. They are standing on the edge of confession, my beloved child. And the edge is not dramatic, it's trembling, it's human, it's the kind of trembling that happens right before truth steps forward. They have practiced what to say in their head, started a sentence, stopped, tried again, because they don't want to overwhelm you or make you uncomfortable, and yet their soul is tired of pretending you are just a thought. They've been wrestling, not with whether they feel it, but with whether they are allowed to feel it, whether the world's rules get to cancel what their spirit keeps confirming. And in the unseen, something has already shifted to meet them, a rearranging of timing, a soft opening where courage can rise without forcing. You will know it when it arrives, because it won't come with manipulation or urgency. It will come with a clean steadiness, and you will feel your breath softens instead of panic, peace instead of pressure. This is why you were guided to hear this now, my dear one, because you are being prepared to receive without shrinking, to listen without bracing, to respond without abandoning yourself. What I'm about to reveal next will make the deeper reason unmistakable, but for now, hold this close. They are breaking open, not breaking apart, and the truth they've been carrying is moving toward you with a sincerity that will finally match what your soul has been picking up all along. My beloved child, pause whatever you're doing and stay with me, because this part is not noise, it's a signal, and it can shift the way you understand what's been happening around you. God saw your pain, your patience, and your silent prayers. Don't rush past this. Here is a small truth you can hold in your hand right now. They've been looking for reasons to talk to you, tiny openings, harmless questions, anything that feels safe enough to reach you without revealing what's really burning underneath. If you've been waiting in silence and wondering if you're imagining the pull, my dear one, you're not foolish, you're sensitive to something real, and you don't have to force it to be true. Their heart is standing at a crossroads, and every road keeps turning back toward you, not because they are bored, not because they want attention, but because their spirit recognized yours, and their life has been rearranging ever since. Take a slow breath with me. They didn't plan this. They weren't searching for it. They didn't wake up one day deciding to fall, and that's why it feels so unsettling to them, because what is divine rarely arrives like a spreadsheet. Their thoughts have been restless, their emotions harder to hide, and God has been watching the inner battle between logic and destiny, between fear of being judged and hunger for honesty, and now destiny is pressing forward with quiet authority. Now, listen, because this is where the picture sharpens. They notice details about you that you don't even realize you reveal. The way your eyes soften when you drift into thought, the strength in your voice when you finally say what you mean, the quiet fire in you that keeps going even when you're tired. And they don't just admire it, they cherish it. They replay those tiny moments the way someone replays a song that makes them feel alive again. They have been imagining a full confession, not a hint, not a half sentence, but a clean truth. And what keeps stopping them isn't lack of feeling, it's the fear of mishandling you, of losing you before they even get the chance to be real. You may feel your heart races as you hear that, because your body recognizes the tension before your mind can name it. And that recognition is not random. And now, here comes the escalation, gentle but unmistakable. God is aligning an unexpected situation, not manufactured, not staged, but sudden in the way divine timing often is. A moment that brings you both face to face with what you've been avoiding naming out loud. This isn't the universe playing games, my dear one. This is the unseen making a path in the scene, and you will feel it as stillness first, the kind of stillness that settles the room inside you, because truth carries peace even when it's intense. There is a sign that will come before their words fully arrive, something simple but clear that removes doubt from the air, and I'm leaving the details for the next part because that's where it will make sense. For now, understand the emotional meaning so you don't slip away. Their feelings have moved from quiet admiration into longing, and longing is turning into courage, and the age difference that once looked like a wall is starting to look small compared to the depth of what they feel, because souls don't count years the way fear does. God is opening doors, loosening restraints, and preparing the moment their honesty breaks through. And when it does, it won't be performative, it will be raw, respectful, and impossible to ignore. My beloved child, gather your focus and keep it here, because this is the place where the connection stops feeling like a question and starts feeling like a reality you can't unsee. Stay till the end, because what I'm about to reveal will explain why the energy around this has intensified so suddenly. They have started arranging their day around the possibility of crossing paths with you, even if they pretend it's accidental. If you've been afraid of being judged for wanting this, my dear one, you are not wrong for longing to be chosen openly, and you don't have to punish yourself for having a heart. Their emotions have reached overflow, not a gentle ripple, but a tide that keeps rising, and what used to be a whisper inside them has become a roar they can't mute. They wake up with your name in the back of their mind, fall asleep with the memory of your voice lingering, and move through ordinary hours with a tug in their chest, like your presence is calling them back to what's true. Hold still for a moment. Here is the first shift. They have stopped telling themselves it's temporary, because it isn't fading, it's deepening. And the age difference that once felt like a barrier is starting to look smaller than the peace they feel around you. You didn't enter their life as entertainment, my beloved child. You arrived at a time when they were starving for meaning, clarity, direction, and without trying you brought what their spirit had been asking for. Comfort that doesn't demand performance, inspiration that doesn't manipulate, a sense of being understood without having to over-explain. That's why the pull feels magnetic, because it's not only attraction, it's alignment, and it carries God's fingerprint in the way it steadies them. Now listen, because this is where it becomes more serious. They have begun to pray about you, not in obsession, but in reverence, asking for guidance because they don't want to mishandle something holy, and that prayer is changing the way they move. You may feel your throat unclenches as you hear that, because your body is picking up on the same pressure building in the unseen, pressure that doesn't break things, it breaks silence. Their fear hasn't vanished, but it is turning into courage, and courage is turning into readiness. And readiness has a sound, my dear one. It sounds like truth looking for a door. Now, as the transition happens, hear this clearly. Their mind is replaying every shared moment with sharper color, and in those replays they're not imagining distance anymore. They're imagining honesty. They've pictured the conversation where they finally tell you everything, not in hints, not through mixed signals, but with clean words. And every time they imagine it, their fear loosens a little and their hope grows stronger. Here comes the escalation. God is aligning circumstances with divine precision, an unexpected opening, a situation that places you both near the truth you've been avoiding. And when it happens, you will feel it as peace first, a stillness in the air that doesn't feel empty. It feels sacred, like the room itself knows something is about to be spoken. I'm not promising drama, my beloved child. I'm promising clarity, because this is not a vague blessing. It is a process already activated, and the tide inside them is rising toward the surface. Something will make their feelings visible, even before their lips fully catch up, and you will finally understand why your spirit couldn't let this go. My beloved child, stay with me through this, because this part carries the deepest weight so far, and it isn't meant to entertain you. It's meant to steady you while the unseen pushes truth toward the surface. God saw your pain, your patience, and your silent prayers. Don't rush past this. They have stopped asking themselves if they feel something and started asking how to show it without ruining what matters. Because love is no longer an idea in their mind, it has become a reality in their body. If you've been doubting yourself, my dear one, wondering if you misread the signs or imagined the intensity, you are not making it up. You are sensing a shift that's real. They try to distract themselves and your presence returns stronger, like a tide refusing to recede. They try to bury it, and something small brings you back, a song that hits the same place, a memory that rises without permission, a dream that leaves a taste of you in the morning. And God says this is not confusion, it is direction. Breathe and stay here. Here is what's happening inside them. They are afraid of losing the connection before it fully begins, afraid you might misunderstand their heart, afraid the age difference could make you step back, afraid destiny placed something rare in their hands and they might mishandle it. And that fear has made them quiet for too long. You may feel the room inside you quiets as you hear that, because your own spirit recognizes the cost of silence, the way it can feel like protection and still be pain. But now something stronger is rising in them, not bravado, not impulse, courage born from love, a courage that doesn't argue with logic. It moves through it, whispering, tell the truth, stop hiding, honor what is real. Here is the next micro payoff. They have drafted words they never send, practiced sentences they never finish, because they want to be careful with you, and carefulness can look like distance even when the heart is leaning in. And now, as heaven intensifies what's already there, the time for hiding is thinning. Now hear the transition. What was once a secret is becoming a force, and forces don't stay politely contained forever. Their calm face is starting to betray them. Their routine feels different. Their decisions feel different. Because they can see you inside their future like a candle in a dark room. impossible to ignore once it's lit. Hold still for a moment. This is where the unseen begins to press into the scene, and the sign you're waiting for will not necessarily arrive as a grand speech. It may come as a message sent without overthinking, and it will carry one unmistakable line they won't be able to hide behind. I tried to ignore this, but I can't anymore. And here is why it matters, my dear one. You are not being teased by life. You are being prepared by God, so you can receive truth without collapsing into fear or performing for approval. The age difference, the timing, the opinions, those are the outer noises. But the inner truth is gaining volume, and you will feel it as your throat unclenches before you hear it in words, because the spirit recognizes what the mouth is still learning to confess. This is serious, this is arranged, and it's moving closer, not to overwhelm you, but to bring clarity, because God is removing fear layer by layer until what remains is honesty, clean and unmistakable. And when that moment arrives, you will understand why your soul has been holding its breath for so long. My beloved child, stay right here with me, because this moment is too precise, too weighty, too divinely arranged for you to miss. And what's been building in secret is about to press into the open. They have stopped trying to move on and started watching their own heart in disbelief, because no matter what they do, you return to them like a steady tide. If you've been waiting and wondering whether you should let go before you look foolish, my dear one, you are not late, and you are not naive for hoping. You're simply awake to a connection that has been forming in the unseen. Their emotions can't hide behind self-control anymore. Their soul is trembling with a truth they've buried so long it's begun to ache, and every thought of you lands heavier now, not as a passing crush, but as something that keeps becoming more real. Stop and feel this. Here is what's happening inside them. Their feelings are crossing a threshold, and it's no longer, I admire you, it's you live in my daily heartbeat. The way your voice sounds when you're honest, the way your presence would feel beside them, the way quiet moments with you seem safer than any crowd. And here is the second micro payoff, small but certain. They've imagined confessing to you in full sentences, not hints, not half steps. And each time they imagine it, their fear loosens and their desire for honesty grows. You may feel your heart races as you hear that, because your spirit recognizes the edge you're both standing on, that thin place where what's hidden starts demanding air. Now, hear the transition. Destiny is not asking them to be dramatic, it's asking them to be true. And God is amplifying what they feel, because the season for silent affection is ending. The age difference that once seemed like a wall is fading from their fears, not because they became reckless, but because their soul has stopped negotiating with numbers and started listening to recognition. Their mind has replayed every moment like a loop they can't escape, and instead of running from it, they are beginning to surrender, not in weakness, but in honesty, because surrender is what happens when love becomes heavier than avoidance. And here comes the escalation, gentle but unstoppable. There is an unexpected moment approaching, not staged, not forced, a small trigger, an innocent interaction, a simple opening, and it will be enough to crack the silence wide open. It may be a message sent before they can overthink, a softness in their voice that gives them away, a look in their eyes that tells you more than words, and when it happens, you will feel your hands stop bracing, then a stillness that settles the air. Because truth carries peace, even when it changes everything. This is the crest before the wave breaks, my beloved child, the peak before release, and I am leaving one thread unpulled on purpose so the ending can land with full weight. What surfaces next will not only reveal how deeply they feel, it will reveal why heaven allowed this connection to form when it did. Their walls are thinning, their courage is rising, and the moment they can't hide from is drawing near with divine accuracy. And when it happens, you won't need to decode it, because they'll stop speaking in hints and finally ask for one simple thing: a real conversation in the open. The wait is over. My beloved, what you felt throughout this message was real and meaningful. Not imagination, not wishful thinking, but recognition, because truth always leaves a trace when it passes through the heart. Here is the answer your soul has been leaning toward. What has been stirring between you is genuine, and it is moving from the unseen into expression exactly as it was meant to. This has already been witnessed and sealed in heaven, recorded without haste, arranged without force, and God is carrying it forward without asking you to strain or control the outcome. If you are still here, dear heart, it is because something in you knew this word belonged to you personally, not as entertainment, but as confirmation. The clearest proof will not arrive as noise or urgency, but as peace, a stillness that settles your body, a warmth in your chest that doesn't argue with your mind, a calm that feels like home returning after a long journey. This connection is not meant to confuse you, but to heal, to mature love, to restore trust where it learned to hide, and to grow you into a steadier, truer version of yourself. As it is written, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart. Philippians 4:7. This is not an ending, my dear one, but a threshold, the quiet beginning of a new chapter that will unfold gently as you walk forward. Go slowly, stay open, and let what has been confirmed continue its work. If you feel a gentle nudge, my dear one, you're invited to place a few honest words below, not polished or explained, just true, about what your heart has been carrying, the hope you haven't spoken, the ache you've learned to hold quietly, the fear or confusion that still visits in the night. There is no pressure and no judgment here, only a safe space to be seen. God notices every word offered in sincerity, and no prayer, whispered or written, is ever overlooked. When you share from the heart, you are not speaking into emptiness. You are being met, upheld, and lovingly guided, and your openness becomes a quiet declaration of faith that you do not walk this path alone.